What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Game Day with Trey. Of course, this is your host, Trey, and today we're going to talk about this NFL Sunday night matchup between the Houston Texans and the Chicago Bears. All right, so this game's set for Sunday night, September 15th, kickoff at 8:20 p.m. East Coast time. The line is set at Houston minus 6.5, and the over-under is currently at 46.5. All right, so let's take a little deeper look into this matchup real quick, guys. All right, so Caleb Williams, number one draft pick, Mr. Hype Train, the best generational quarterback to come out in however long, from what everybody says. Threw for a putrid 93 yards in his first NFL matchup, man. All right. He was 14 of 29 passing, while DeAndre Swift rushed for only 30 yards on 10 carries to lead the Bears on the ground. DJ Moore led the Bears with 5 grabs for 36 yards. Receiving, while Keenan Allen added 4 receptions for 29 yards. On defense, TJ Edwards had a team-high 15 total tackles, including 10 solo tackles, while Jaquan Brisker added 10 total tackles. Darrell Taylor had a pair of sacks, and Javon Dexter Sr. added a sack of his own. Now, as you could tell in that last game, against the Tennessee Titans, where Chicago had to basically come back and win 24-17 in their opener. Man, look, they're going to be dependent on the defense a lot over here in Chicago from what it looked like. And that doesn't make sense considering all the weapons they have and they've added. Now, I told everybody that spoke to me or that would listen, all right, that I believed that the Bears would be a decent team this year. Just not a great team. I don't believe all the hype about Caleb Williams. I don't believe that he was going to come into the league and throw for 5 billion yards and be the next Patrick Mahomes on day one. I just don't see that. Not with the coach that the Chicago Bears have. It's just I don't see it happening. I think they should have fired that coach. I think they should have moved forward with a new coach. That way you had a new coach that was going to be there with Caleb Williams. Because I'm telling you right now, if this man Eberflus don't get it together, he ain't going to be there too much longer. Okay? It's just a fact. A fact of the NFL. NFL stands for not for long. Now, when you talk about the Houston Texans come into this one looking to build on their 29-27 win over the Indianapolis Colts. The last time they were out there on the field, division rivalry. Okay, C.J. Stroud threw for 234 yards and 2 touchdowns on 24 of 32 passing, while Joe Mixon ran for 159 yards and a touchdown on 30 carries. Nico Collins led the Texans with 6 grabs for 117 yards, while Tank Dell had 40 receiving yards, and Stephon Diggs chipped in 6 receptions for 33 yards and a pair of touchdowns. On defense, Henry To'oTo'o, or Henry Tutu, however you pronounce his name, had a team-high 7 total tackles, while Folorunso Fatukasi and Mario Edwards Jr. added a sack as well. Kalen Bullock also chipped in an interception for the Texans in the victory. All right, so taking a deeper look into these two teams and how they played so far this season. Chicago in game 1, like I said, they scored 24 points. That makes them middle of the pack, 15th in the NFL. Whereas Houston scored 27 points. Gave up 27 points on defense, and that put their defense at the 21st worst defense in the NFL. Third down conversions. On third down conversions, the Chicago Bears were only able to convert 15.38% of their third downs. That puts them at the 30th worst third down conversion team in the NFL, guys. Whereas Houston's defense was able to stop the opposing team 50% of the time on third down. So that put them at the 25th worst third down conversion defense in the NFL. Now let's look at this in the inverse. Houston on offense, they scored 29 points last week. That puts them at the number 7 offense in the NFL versus Chicago's number 7 defense in the NFL, only giving up 17 points total. Now remember, they were playing the Tennessee Titans. Not somebody that's known to put up 1,000,000 points and throw it all over the field and run all over you like that, especially with a young quarterback. So just keep that in mind. Now, when you look at third down conversions for Houston on offense, though, they were also able to convert 50% of their third downs on offense. Now, that right there puts them as the number 5 offense on third down in the NFL, guys, which is major when you're coming into this matchup because you're playing the Chicago Bears defense that only allowed the Tennessee Titans to convert 21.43% of their third down conversions. So that puts them as the 5th best third down conversion defense in the NFL. Now let's take a look at red zone real quick. So Chicago was 0% in the red zone, pushed them at 28th worst offense in the NFL somehow when they were 0% in the red zone on offense. And on defense, Houston actually gave up 66.67% of opposing red zone scoring touchdowns. So that puts them at the 23rd worst defense in the red zone. So Chicago can make it down to the red zone, then they do have an opportunity. Whereas when you're talking about Houston in the red zone, they were 100% in the red zone, guys. Number 1 red zone offense in the NFL. And Chicago's defense in the red zone, they gave up 50% of the red zone opportunities for touchdowns, guys. And that puts them at 13th in the NFL as far as defense is concerned. Now, when you look at what happened last week with Houston, Houston was able to run the ball all over the field last week, right? So with them running the ball all over the field last week, that put them as the number 1 rushing offense in the NFL with a total of 213 yards. They ran the ball on 52.63% of their plays, and they had an average rush of 5.3. Okay, all that is top 5 or even top 8 when you're talking about how many times they ran the ball last week. When you look at Chicago on defense, Chicago's defense against the run is the 29th worst in the NFL to oppose, giving up 5.4 yards per rush to opposing running backs. They also gave up a total of 140 yards last week. So that means they're the 22nd worst defense against the run in the NFL. All right, that's major because of the fact that Houston had such a time running the ball last week, and if they can run the ball, it is game over, man. Because you let C.J. Stroud get in that play action, and the boy is a problem. The young man is a problem. Gotta salute him because he's definitely a beast. And he doesn't play around out there, man. I love the way the youngster goes out and has really proven that Ohio State can actually produce a quality quarterback, at least through year 1. Now, situationally, when you look at these two teams, okay, they both 1-0, all right? When you look against the spread, though, Chicago is 1-0 as well, but Houston's not. They're 0-1, all right? And when you look at over-under, Chicago's game, of course, went under because they were struggling for anybody to do anything on offense in that game. And Houston's game, of course, went over with that high score, last-second win that they had over against the Indianapolis Colts. All right, so when you look at the last 10 times these teams have been out on the field, Chicago is 6-4 straight up, 7-2-1 against the spread, and 3 to the over, 7 to the under in the last 10 games that they've played. They're on a 2-game under streak, going back to last season. With Tennessee, they went under last week, of course, with the Tennessee game, and it went under against Green Bay on January 7th last year, or this year. I'm sorry. All right, now, when you look at Houston in their last 10 games, they're also 6-4 straight up. They're 5-5 against the spread, and they're 4-5-1. So that's 4 to the over, 5 to the under with 1 push in their last 10 games stepping out on the field. They have not covered in the last 2 games they played. Of course, you're counting that playoff game against the Baltimore Ravens. But they did ball out against Indianapolis last week. So that does give you some hope as far as them being able to put up points and all that stuff there, and actually play decent against a good offense. That Colts offense is actually pretty good with Anthony Richardson back there at quarterback right now. The way they're calling the plays, the way they're in perfect succession, the way they are spreading the ball around out there for the Colts. They just came out there and did their thing last week, man, and I salute that team. All right, so you gotta kind of look at the previous week and always understand who they played and why it turned out the way it turned out, because that could tell you a lot about the team that you're about to either place a wager on or place a wager against. All right, now when you're talking about head-to-head, these teams have only met 5 times since 2008. Okay, Houston runs the series 3-2. As far as straight up is concerned, against the spread, Houston runs that as well, 3-2, and it's been 2 to the over and 3 to the under in these 5 games that they played. The last time they matched up was back in 2022. The score was 23-20, Bum Bowl. Okay, now we know that this ain't gonna be no Bum Bowl. All right, C.J. Stroud is the truth. Okay, and we can expect the young man to go out there and do what he has always done. Now, also remember, these 2 teams had 3 straight unders in these 5 matchups that they played. The last time they did play in 2022, it did go over, but other than that, it usually stays under, just historically, so you can understand where these 2 teams have been, even though it's completely different teams and completely different matchups out there, right? So the Chicago Bears have scored first in 10 of their last 13 games. The Chicago Bears have covered the first quarter spread in 9 of their last 11 away games. All right, now the Houston Texans have hit the first half money line in 15 of their last 22 games, and the Houston Texans have hit the money line in 15 of their last 22 games. The Chicago Bears have covered the spread in 13 of their last 21 games, whereas the Houston Texans have hit the second quarter money line in 11 of their last 19 games. Chicago Bears have hit the money line in 12 of their last 21 games. All right, and the Houston Texans have covered the second half spread in 8 of their last 10 games at home. All right, the Chicago Bears have hit the first quarter money line in 6 of their last 11 away games, and the Houston Texans have hit the second half money line 7 of their last 10 games at home. The Chicago Bears have also hit the second quarter game total over in 7 of their last 9 games, and the Houston Texans have covered the fourth quarter spread in 8 of their last 10 games at home. All right, so when you're talking about these 2 teams and why they both have an opportunity to win this game, we'll start off with Chicago. So the Texans have lost 5 of their last 6 games as home favorites following a win. Keep that in mind, guys. The Bears have won each of their last 4 Week 2 games against AFC opponents. The Texans have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 6 games as home favorites following a win. And the underdogs have covered the spread in 7 of the Texans' last 8 Week 2 games. All right, now, when you're talking about why Houston has a good chance to win this game, the Bears have lost each of their last 15 Sunday road games. The home team has won each of the Bears' last 6 games. The home team has covered the spread in each of the Bears' last 6 games. And the Bears have failed to cover the spread in 7 of their last 8 road games following a win. Now, I understand that this is a completely different Bear team, and that leads for an opportunity for there to be a different outcome, right? But as long as you got the same coach, all right, running the same systems, all right, then you're pretty much dooming or damning yourself to the same style of play. I don't care what players you put out there, okay? This coach, Matt Eberflus, has shown time and time again that he just does not have the capability or the mental wherewithal to be able to consistently put a good product out there for the Chicago market and represent the Bears properly. All right, so I'm on the Texans here. The Bears have managed to get the win, but the Bears can manage to get the win, all right? But I just don't think that's going to happen, all right? I think the Titans ended up shooting themselves in the foot a little bit in that game and giving it away. And if that's how Caleb Williams is going to play for the course of the season, the Bears will be in trouble long term. Because I'm going to be honest with you, man. He looked horrible in that game. And it's not like the Tennessee Titans are the best defense in the world. Okay? So that tells you something, guys. That should really, really tell you something. All right? So I like Houston minus the 6.5. I also like this game to go under because I just think Houston's defense is going to come out there and do what they do, and Chicago's going to have to lean on their defense. All right, but I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Please like, subscribe, share. We are, I want to say like 70 subscribers or something like that away from reaching the 500 mark right now, so we're at a decent pace. Just need you guys to go ahead and help me out and share the content, guys. Like I said, I hope this information helps you. Best of luck. Have a blessed day. Stay safe, and I'm going to see you at the window. Peace.